Hey guys, my name's Cleo, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can get this easy everyday look. I use this a lot for when I'm wearing a mask out in public, minus the lip color, and I feel like this is something that is super quick. Typically takes me anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes to do, depending if I like apply a color on my lid or if I want to apply any contour or anything like that. But it's really fast, and it just makes you look a lot more vibrant and kind of cute. It's fun. It's a good time. So please stick around if you'd like to see how I do this. So I always start off with my color correcting concealer. So first I start off with my color correcting concealer. It's from Big Cover. I got it on YesStyle for like less than 10 bucks. I will link it in the description box, and I'll also name the color because it's not listed here. I go in with my color correcting concealer because I have really dark, although you can't really see it with this lighting, but really blue undertones here. So even if I use, say, like a tattoo concealer or any other full coverage concealer, you still see the gray cast that's underneath. This is a slightly peach tone, but when it blends out, it doesn't look peach at all. So I just put a little bit here, a little bit here, here, and then I do this line here so that way when I blend it out, it will accentuate the eye shape that I'm going to go with. It'll complement the way I do my my eyeliner and all of that. And then, although it's color correcting, I'm just gonna throw it on this little one here. I've been kind of ditching foundation because it just moves around anyways, and all that really matters is here. I do this part of my face just for my own personal comfort, and then I like to wait for that to get tacky. That tip I learned from Miss Jackie Aina on YouTube. And so in the meantime, I go in with my brows. So I'm just going in with my Anastasia brow wiz in the shade medium brown. I like to brush them out first. I'm just looking into my mirror down here, and then I follow this line here, and I start really lightly here and apply more pressure as I move forward, keeping my brows relaxed, and then I follow the tail. And then I do the same thing on top, lighter pressure at the front, harder as I reach the back, and that's my two lines. I don't know if you can tell in this video, but although I have a lot of brow hairs, because they're really thin, they don't provide a lot of darkness. When my skin is completely bare and I'm makeupless, it doesn't look odd or anything like that, but as soon as I put any makeup on, it starts to look really unbalanced. So I just fill it in, and then I do light strokes throughout my brow, and I like to go for a more ashy gray toned brown because it complements not only my skin tone, but it also just looks more natural with my hair color. And then I do the same thing on the other side. I just do kind of like upwards motions just near the center, and then taking the other end, I just brush through it so there's no blockiness to the brow. Although, like, obviously I'm wearing makeup, no one's fooled. I do like it to appear a little natural. And then I just fix up anything in the arch like that. Then I go in with my Anastasia. This is just the, I think it's called the brow, just the brow, perfect brow pencil. Perfect brow pencil is what it's called. And I've used quite a lot of it. I've been using it for years. I do need to sharpen it. But I just go in on the tail end just to not only darken it, but it also has a bit more of a waxy consistency, and I like that waxy consistency to like almost make it a little bit more sharp at the end. I just apply some brow gel. And this brow gel is the 24-hour brow setter. And this is from Benefit. It's really great. It's clear. It's like almost like a glue kind of consistency when you put it on. Like your brows are not going to move anywhere. I don't have unruly brows, but I do really like just the overall consistency of it, and I like the way that it sets. So now my concealer has been hanging out for a while. I'm going to just tap it, starting with spots, and then I will move up towards my eyes. And I don't use any swiping motions because I don't want to remove any of the actual product, and I just want to tap it in to build coverage in that area. When you swipe it around, you're just kind of like pushing it everywhere. And then I go in under my eyes. Sorry, my cat is next to me. He barged in and I can't say no to my cat. So if you hear intermittent meowing or purrs, that is him. And then I just bring it down a little bit, but I concentrate mostly on this line and then in shaping it the way I want it to look. Then go in and do the other side. The next thing I'll be going in with is no longer sold in stores. This is a discontinued product. It is the Kat Von D, or what do they call it now? The Clean Vegan Beauty brand, in their tattoo concealer. It's called the Locket Concealer. And I use the shade Light 16. Since this product is no longer available, another concealer that I like to use in the mix is the Stay Naked Correcting Concealer from Urban Decay. Stay Naked. So this one's really great. It's just this concealer is literally the shade of my skin, so it blends perfectly, which is why I still continuously use it. It's really hard for me to get something that is the correct undertone for my skin as well as being the correct tone, because I have a peachy, warm, neutral undertone, and a lot of foundations and a lot of concealers tend to run more into either of those sections, so that's why I keep using this one. But I also think that the NARS, the Stay Matte, the like pot concealer is really good. I know that the creamy concealer is great. The Too Faced multi sculpting concealer, yeah, that one, I know that one is really great. They just don't have my perfect shade in that unfortunately. I do just a pea-sized amount, not even, maybe like ticker. I go on with a really small amount, roughly this much, because it spreads really far. And I just tap in to the product to heat it up. And I go over any areas. So today I have some redness here. I don't know how well you can see it on my camera, but I'm just tapping over it. And it's really important for this look that you use a concealer that fully matches your skin, just because I'm not using a foundation. If it isn't the perfect tone, it doesn't have like a more skin-like finish, it's really going to be obvious that you just have like dots in certain spaces. So whichever matches you best and whichever looks skin-like on you, so that could be like a satin finish, or if you prefer like a hydrating finish and then you mattify it, or even a matte finish that you then kind of like put a finishing spray all over. All of that is great. And then just go under my eyes in that place where I have that the line, which is like the darkest part. And then I do the same thing on this side. And then any excess product I have on my little tiny ring finger, I bring down the center of my nose, just because I have like a Rudolph nose. It gets really red. So I just bring it down the center there. I then go in with my Laura Mercier powder. And this is just in the regular translucent. I just flip it down and then put that way, so I have some in the lid. This actually isn't my favorite powder, but I am using it up because it is expensive. It almost like removes coverage when it goes down. I've only seen Thomas Halbert talk about that that weird just like effect it has. I do really like the Hourglass powder, and I have been wanting to try the Cover FX powder as well. So I'm just taking this on my Sephora Collection Pro Mini 55.5 brush. This is one of the Rouge gifts that they came out with a few years ago. So I just tap under my eye to set it because that's where I have the most product, and then I put it over my brow to mattify any shininess that the brow gel might have, and then I tap and I buff the powder over the rest of my face. I do the same thing on the left side of my face. And then I have an oily T-zone, so I just make sure I really powder that. And it also removes any of the shiny finish that my sunscreen and my face powder have left. So there we go. And that is the majority of the face done. Next I go in with the Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting powder in medium. So I have definitely hit pan on this, and I'm going in with the Sephora, the double-ended contour highlighting brush. So taking the contour side, just pick up a little bit and tap it where, if you're looking forward, that natural line is, but also I just have a slight natural indent here, and I just tap this in place. If I have like any places that I concealed right here, I would only tap so as not to disrupt any coverage. And then, to kind of elongate my face, because I have a very wide face, I go down the side here and I shade that so that it looks just a little bit longer. I repeat the same thing on the upper side, and I always blend my contour up because I'm not making more cheekbone down here. I think you always want to make sure your cheekbones look higher. And then I do the same shading technique on the side of my face, and as long as you're going in with a light hand, it won't look like a strip is down the side of your face. It should be very natural looking. And then I like to make sure that my face has a nice separation from my neck, and then I go in with the Luxie 237 blending brush. It's a really small, thin duo fiber brush. It's really like dense, and it has a nice dome to it, so it picks up not too much product because it is a duo fiber. I take this and I go right here, starting from inside my brow, and then I draw down. I don't always contour, like depending on how much time or how much effort I really feel like putting in that day. It really will change how much powders I would use. So like I could stop right here, like right where I powdered my face, and stop there for the day. If I have a little bit more time, I will do a light contour of my nose. And then I also like to contour my lip right here. so that it makes the bottom lip look fuller and it pushes it out. Then taking the same contour brush, because I don't have that many brushes, I go in with the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil in medium deep and just apply it on my temples. I prefer going in with a bronzer on my forehead because I feel like it looks more natural to have a warmer color here as opposed to a gray tone, because the sun is always hitting your forehead. I always find that my forehead always gets tan. Even though my face doesn't tan that much, my forehead will always get tan. And then I bring just a little bit of that on my cheeks for kind of like a very sun-kissed look. And a little bit on the tip of my nose. Lately, I have been really loving the Fenty cream blushes. This is in the shade 02 Petal Poppin. So I'm just going to be going in with that shade. Take it on my ring finger. And I prefer to place my blush in this section. It accentuates the higher cheekbones, as well as I think just gives like a really cutesy flush. I usually apply this under my face powder, but it really doesn't matter. Because of the consistency and the tapping motion, it doesn't look weird and it still has really good staying powder, so I'm not worried about needing to powder it again, although you definitely can if that's something you would like. And then this is something that I've been liking to do because when you're wearing a mask, it covers right here, so you don't really see any of the blush I put there. It's mostly just for my own aesthetic purposes, but I like to put a little bit right here. So you can see just like that cute sunburn, but also when I'm wearing a mask you can see a little bit of blush, and I feel like it just set my face. And if you are concerned, you can just go over with any remaining powder still on your brush and just set that. So the next step I'm going to do is my eyes. This is kind of where I really decide where I'm going with my day, like how simple, or not even like super complicated because I've been really lazy lately, but how simple to slightly less simple I want to make my eye look. So I either do just the eyeliner that I do at the end, or I prime my lids with the Decay eyeshadow primer potion. This isn't like the best eyeshadow primer ever, but I've been using it since I was a little kid because I tried out the Too Faced shadow primer and it made my lids super oily over time. And so ever since I switched back to this one, although my lids are just like a tiny bit oily, they're nothing like crazy. So I've been scarred to try anything else in case it makes the pH of my lids like all messed up. So I just tap this in. If I'm just doing the eyeliner with my inner corner highlight, I do not use a primer because it's not necessary. But if I'm using any color, I do go with that. Today and most days I go in with the Huda Beauty Amethyst Obsessions palette. It has these beautiful shades inside. Clearly I use it, although not really this color, but it's really, really pretty. I like it for doing really light washes of color. So going in with this shade right here, just take a little bit on, this is one of the Anastasia double-sided brushes that comes in their palettes. So take a little bit of that, and I just lightly tap it on my lid and swipe it. And I don't set my eyeshadow primer when I'm doing this just because it grips onto the shadow a bit better if I'm doing like a very defined look, or where I'm trying to kind of contour my eye a certain way. I definitely do set that primer, but if I'm just going for like a casual wash of color. They really don't care. And then just super slight. And then I start to take a little bit more and I kind of wing it out in that same direction that I brought my concealer. I do the same thing with just the slight wash of color. And I do this because I have natural darkness, just a little bit here, but I kind of think it's cute. In this shade that kind of fills out the space between where this line of my upper lash line kind of goes, and I feel like this brings here, it like looks really sculpted, kind of brings my face back in a similar to that, I guess, fox eye trend that everybody's been like loving, but also just like very Arabic inspired eyes, or just kind of like a upward lifting motion, which I tend to do with all of my face makeup anyways, including my blush, my contour. So I just like to continuously incorporate that. And then I repeat the same on the other side. And these shadows are really pigmented, so you don't have to go very heavy with them if you're just doing a light wash of color, because I'm just tapping in once and getting the effect that I desire. And you don't have to use this palette, you could literally use any palette as long as it has like a pinky purple shade, but I do this with so many different other shades. I love the Too Faced matte peach palette. I take any of those peach shades, basically anything that goes from any color, literally any color. Like I've done this with greens, I've done this with blues. I think it's super pretty, especially if you're really lazy. And then I take just a little bit on the opposite side of my brush and I fill in that natural space I have that is just slightly darker. So that's like the outer third of my lower lash line, and then I just blend that out until I'm left with something like this. The next thing I go in with is my MAC Duo shade. It's in the shade Mushroom, this one on here, and I use this for my inner corner because it just is a really lovely natural pop. I take this on the Decay Naked double-sided end, but literally anything that's like a flat paddle brush, it will focus. Not on me, on her. Right, well, it's a flat paddle brush, so anything of this shape, pretty thin, a little bit rounded. Take a little bit of that, and then I go right under here, so like the first half of my eye, and then right in the inner corner as well. And bringing it right here just really brightens up my eye as opposed to stopping right here. Doing this little bit makes a huge difference. And if I'm feeling like crazy or whatever, if I'm feeling like doing something fun, I do like bringing like a duochrome shade also here, but I like to always leave this part, whatever highlight shade I choose for that day, typically this shade, but it really could be anything. Then I go in with my fluffy blending brush. This is from Eco Tools. It can literally be anything as long as it's kind of domed and it doesn't have any shadow on it. This one I got literally at Walmart, and I got it in a travel set, and it's great. I love the Eco Tools brushes. I highly recommend them. And I got this like 10 years ago, and it's still amazing. So even though they're really affordable, they last a long time, like a really long time, which is great money for like what you're, so great value for what you're spending. And then I just bring it over here in case there's any lines. The last thing I go in with is the Narcissus palette in L'amour, toujours l'amour. This is the really cool toned Narcissus palette. I got this one when I worked at Sephora and for selling NARS products. I always go in with this shade for my eyeliner, and it's actually a really dark olive color, but once it goes on my lid it kind of looks like almost the perfect shade of black. Like it's not too strong, it's really almost like looks gray toned, and it matches right in with my eyelashes. Not that my eyelashes are green, but it's just perfect. And I take this on, I don't even know the brand name of this brush, but it's the Liner 5 brush. I got it at a Shoppers Drug Mart when I was in middle school, and it has never left my side. But it's really just a angled brush that's really thin. Like she's very thin. You can get the same ones at Anastasia, you can get them from Shoppers. I'm sure Eco Tools has a great one, like BH Cosmetics, Morphe, Sigma, whichever your price range suits. I pick up just a little bit, just one little tap, and then I go like this. And I'm just following not only this line, but also the way my eyelid kind of curves downwards. I'm not trying to like mess with that. I'm not even trying to connect it with my eyebrow here, but almost like more horizontal. I used to always do my eyeliner as if I was doing this technique, but it's very not flattering for my eye shape. Like even if I do it like this, you can see, whereas if I go like this, that just looks so much better. It's also following that same line that I created from my eyeshadow and my concealer. And I also just like to press so that I'm getting a more opaque application. I just go straight up to my lash line, like literally right here, and I slowly bring it out from the halfway point, and I just kind of let it feather out by dragging it inwards. And as you can see, it just really complements my eye shape a lot. And I also bring it in right here, and I do a slight connection, just like really lightly dragging it over this little tiny part here. I do the same thing on the other side. My eyeliner isn't even. I mean, c'est la vie. Yeah. So that's what the eyeliner looks like. And honestly, half the time I really just do the eyeliner and I do the inner corner highlight, and it really just brings my overall look together. It looks much more complete. It looks really cute. And then if I'm feeling like it, I also do the inner parts. Okay, so I do one tap, then I brush off the sides here like that. So after I brush off the sides, I line up my brush like this, and with this natural line that I already have, I just extend that, following the same shape that my upper lash line is doing. And then I flip my brush. I connect it. And I only do a very faint line because if I go too dark with it, it can look really unflattering on my eye shape. And I do the same thing. I dip my brush again, wipe off the sides, and I go in. I go with my Tweezerman lash curler, and really any Maybelline or CoverGirl drugstore mascara I think is great. They all pretty much do the exact same thing. This one is called the Colossal Big Shot. As long as it's waterproof, I find that it holds my curls. If it's not waterproof, it doesn't. So I just do little pulses and move out of my eye. I do the same thing on the other side, little pulses. So I take my mascara, I wipe off the edge, and then I go in. Sorry, I'm just looking at my mirror down here. And I brush through my lashes. And I focus a lot on the outer half because I want it to give a more flirty, fluttery appearance that's kind of like moving outwards in that direction. And I do the same thing on the opposite side. And then I take the rest and I go on my lower lash line, focusing again on the outer half. And I don't really like to bring my mascara too far in, like all the way in, because one, I'm most likely going to smudge it, but also I really like to focus on how bright that inner corner is, because I really like trying to cover the darkness underneath my eyes. So I'm going in with the Tarte Stay Awake cream eyeliner pencil. You do not have to use this brand. You can use any other brand as long as it's nude. Then I just tilt my head down, look forward into a mirror, or you could even look how I am now, and then I just follow that. That way you're not pulling on your eyes, because you never want to like pull your skin and make premature wrinkles, right? So if you're having trouble with that, you can, instead of pulling, you can just press here and it'll push out that waterline. And then if it's my day-to-day life, I kind of just leave it like this. I don't really do anything with my lips unless like it's a chapstick, but for the sake of this video, I am going to apply lip color. So a lot of the lip colors I like to use on a daily basis tend to be more brick toned or red. I really like berry shades because for some weird reason in my mind that is the most natural looking shade, although it's very much not. But I personally don't like pinky colors on myself. So I'm going in with the 3CE Style Nanda Velvet Lip Tint, and this is in the shade Daffodil. So this is like a velvet matte finish. Today I just want to do a really light wash of this color. So I'm going to take some of my finger and just apply it really sheerly and kind of fading that line out. Next I'm going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Bond Curl. So it looks like this. Is this color. So it's just a deeper kind of brown toned red. But if I'm wearing a mask, I'm not wearing a lip color because it is not worth it. This is the finished look. It's just a really cute, everyday, kind of bright and fun look if you want to do like a little bit of color. But I think the like most important takeaway from this video is really finding a concealer that perfectly matches your skin tone, as well as possibly like color correcting when you have discoloration. It's totally not necessary if you don't have any discoloration or gray cast that you see after you're done applying your makeup, but this would really help if you have dark circles or just discolored under eyes. And then the eyeliner, because I don't see people doing their eyeliner that often in this shape, especially not in Western makeup. It's definitely something I see more in like Korean dramas or Korean makeup, and so I thought it'd be cool to show you how I like to do that. Yeah, please like comment below if there's anything that you found helpful or that you would like to see. Like I can do totally different kinds of looks, halo eyes, smoky eyes, just fun ways you can use this with like completely different colors. If you want a more like in-depth routine on my brows, like how I shape them, all of that stuff. If you want to see how I prep my skin before I do makeup or how I remove all of this after, I would love to share that with you guys. I'm sure no one's really gonna see this. It's my first video ever, but it'd be really cool, and I would really love to be part of this community and have conversations. It's something I've watched for a really long time, and I've just been way too scared to make a video. But yes, let me know, and like let's get to know each other.